'tis the season for Cinderella stories and busted brackets.
Cinderella, Cinderella, who will wear the glass shoe this year? And we're back at CC TitleTown, March 18th, Monday night. I'm your host, Chris, and my co-host, Cameron. Cameron, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. It's one of the best times of the year coming up, March Madness.
It's like Christmas all over again.
It is, man. Love it.
'Tis the season.
Love it. All right, everybody, get your brackets out. We guarantee that you're going to get one pick correct if you follow out of all these picks if you follow our bracket, all right? But no, seriously, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to break down our Sweet 16 and on all the way to the national championship game.
That's right.
Talk about maybe a couple of Cinderella teams that we may think can, move far into the tournament, among a couple of other topics we'll hit on today.
Even if they're, depending on what people consider a Cinderella team, not a 1-2 seed, that we may have going farther than some other people may predict. So, like you said, we guarantee, if you listen to this, we guarantee you one right pick out of all of these.
That's a lot.
Right. You can't say we didn't try.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
all right.
Cam, I'm going to let you start, run through your Sweet 16 picks, and I'll kind of follow up and see what we have as far as what's different, what's the same.
Sure. For in the East region, I've got Duke playing Virginia Tech, and then Belmont, Cinderella team, everybody.
Okay, wow.
Take
Cam's
note.
Coming out hot, first with second pick of the day.
Belmont playing Michigan State. That's in the East region. In the West, we got Gonzaga playing Florida State, and then Buffalo versus Michigan. Another. Take note, people. Another one.
Yeah,
Buffalo.
I'm taking notes, but it's not in a good way.
Hey, anything can happen.
Yeah, I know.
All right, moving to the South now. I got Virginia playing Oregon. Oregon's been pretty hot towards the stretch run of the season.
I like Oregon a lot.
Then Villanova versus Tennessee, the national champs or defending national champs. Villanova versus Tennessee. Moving down to the Midwest now, North Carolina versus Auburn, and Iowa State versus Kentucky.
Okay.
We had a couple differences in there, Chris. So
not many. They are relatively very similar. You picked a couple different ones, obviously, in the East and the West. I would never in my life take Belmont, but
hey, man, they're a historically great tournament team.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. You know what? Don't everybody who's listening, don't take Belmont. No, but for real, I have obviously, I think unanimously Duke winning and playing Virginia Tech. I took Maryland. I think Maryland's gonna play well against Belmont. I also think LSU's gonna have some struggles, so that's why I took Maryland over LSU playing Michigan State.
Yeah,
who I do like a lot. I personally think Michigan State should have got the 1 seed over Gonzaga. But I know that's kind of a lot of people thought that too, but that's just, who knows I don't know how they can
winning the Big Ten, regular season and conference tournament. That's a big deal.
Huge deal.
So I'm sure that was a tough one for the committee.
Right. But, we'll see. Time will tell. They do have a tough route now, obviously, against Duke. But I have Gonzaga playing Florida State, Texas Tech, who I'm pretty high on. I think I like Texas Tech a lot. I got them going, pretty far. Playing Michigan
Texas
in the West. And then over the South, I have Virginia, who for some reason I have this weird feeling they might lose again against the 16th seed, but I'm not ballsy enough to take that.
Come on. Do it,
I'm
Chris.
not. No.
It's happened once before. It's got to happen again.
Yeah, back-to-back years. That'd be kind of crazy. But I have them playing Tennessee. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm moving up to the Elite Eight on next. I have them playing Oregon, who I also, as Cam said, I'm pretty high on. Villanova, defending champs against Tennessee. I like Tennessee a lot. UNC playing Auburn, and as well as Cam did, Iowa State playing Kentucky. So that's my my Sweet 16. So, yeah, not too many differences.
The one big one I want to touch on, Texas Tech.
Yeah.
pretty high on them.
Yeah, no,
Yeah?
I like them a lot, man. I think that their defense is key. I think they barely give up 60 or just under 60 points a game.
Yeah.
And they also have 3 guys that average double figures. So
cool.
their shooting combined with their defense, I think it's going to take them far. I actually have them, and we'll probably touch on this a little bit later, but I actually have them beating Florida State to go into the Final Four. So.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I think that, I don't know. I think they're going to give teams fits. And they're 3 seeds, so it's not like you said, it's not necessarily a Cinderella story.
Yeah.
But
it's not a team you don't think of Texas Tech, moving to the Final Four.
Exactly.
But when you do look at their season, it's a fair point. They've had a strong season.
Yeah, no, they put together a good resume, I think, too.
They did. So big wins against big teams. That's a good pick. And that out of that one, I had Buffalo beating them. Winning 30 games is, albeit in the MAC.
Right.
Winning is winning, and winning in college basketball is not easy. So,
well, especially this time of year too.
Yeah. And they ran through their. They ran through their conference.
Kind of no competition.
So it's not like it was close, and they played a couple of close games. They pretty much ran through their competition. So
right.
I like the athleticism that they have on their team. I think they're gonna make some noise.
Right. Yeah.
So,
no, like you said,
that was one of the main differences we had. I know. So
right, and like you said, winning does matter, and then for them to, put together a resume and go 31-3, regardless of what conference they're in.
Yeah.
But even then, that's going to be a confidence booster for them coming in. But like some players have said, we saw Zion talk about it a little bit. Everybody's 0-0 now, really.
Yeah.
So anything can happen for the high seeds or the low seeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
obviously we saw it last year with 16 beating the 1.
Exactly, and that never happens, but it can. Obviously, we've seen it.
Yep.
So
who do you have moving on to the Elite 8 then?
To the Elite 8, we'll start with the East again?
Yeah.
Duke. Yeah, I have Duke beating Virginia Tech. I think it'll be their first, I'd say, test in the tournament.
Yeah.
I still think they get a double-digit win there.
Yeah.
But I think it's a late, it's a close game through the first half. Mm-hmm. Second half, they slowly start to pull away.
Virginia Tech did beat Duke.
Yeah.
Earlier this year. However, Duke did not have Zion Williamson, and we know.
And we've seen that they're a totally different team.
Totally. I
think Duke would still be a 1 seed without him.
But with him, they're the clear. In most people's eyes, they're the favorite.
Yeah, how can they not be?
Yeah.
And we'll talk about how teams can potentially beat them, and we'll get to that in a little bit with some of these better teams, I think. But yeah, so I have Duke beating Virginia Tech, playing Michigan State, I have them beat Maryland. I know you had Belmont in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll wait to see what you have for them. And then in the West, I have Florida State beating Gonzaga, the 1 seed.
Nice.
I like Gonzaga. I do think they are a good team, but like I said, I think they should have been a 2 seed and instead have Michigan State be the 1 seed.
Gotcha.
And I kind of feel bad for Michigan State because if Michigan State would have been the 1 seed in the West, I would have them coming out of the West.
Yeah.
Instead, I have them losing eventually, and we'll get to that. Even though I do like Texas Tech, which I have Florida State playing Texas Tech in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And then headed to the South, Virginia. I do think they move on past Oregon. As much as I like Oregon was hurt. They had a couple players hurt early in the season that are back, and they're on we said they're on about an 8-game win streak right now. They're playing hot at the right time.
Yeah.
But I do think Virginia, the defense that Virginia plays, the slow tempo, each possession matters.
Yeah.
They'll beat Oregon.
It's a veteran group there too.
Exactly. They've been here many of times. I got Villanova playing Tennessee. I honestly think this is another one I didn't want to put on. I think Purdue might lose first round against Old Dominion, but I was too scared to put that in there. But anyway, I have Villanova playing Tennessee.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I have Tennessee beating Villanova, going to the Elite 8. And then the Midwest, UNC versus Kentucky. I think that is going to be an awesome game, man. As good as Auburn is, I don't think they're going to be able to handle UNC.
Too much tempo.
Yeah,
too much
UNC
tempo.
is just like, and they had some veterans on their team.
Yeah.
That are very underrated as well.
Yeah. Luke May.
Yeah, that's the first person I can in mind. I feel like he's been there for 6 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
I know
he's very underrated in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
In the Iowa State Kentucky game, I think we both are relatively high on Iowa State. But I do.
They won. They won the Big 12.
Yeah, and that's no joke either. But I think Kentucky and PJ Washington he's really kind of came into his own this second half of the season.
He is a beast down low.
Yeah.
He's tough.
He's fun to watch too.
Yeah.
So, I think I don't remember. Like I said, this is kind of where I don't know if our picks are still relatively similar or if we still got some differences, but
we got a couple. I know in the East we both have Duke and Michigan State. In the West, I've got Florida State versus Buffalo.
Oh, that's right.
Actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You
picked
high on the Buffalo team, Texas Tech and Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Florida State versus Buffalo. Buffalo, they are 6th in the NCAA in scoring.
Wow.
They'd be going up against a Michigan team that kind of struggles to score at times.
Right. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
The ball kind of sticks, and they've got a great point guard, but sometimes
they're streaky. Yeah. Their offense is streaky.
Real streaky. So I'm taking Buffalo. That's my Cinderella team. In a way, if you guys, it's hard to pick a 6 seed as being the Cinderella.
I think it's fair.
They're not expected to get to the Elite Eight, so
no. And like you said, I think it depends what type of Michigan team comes in there.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I like it.
Michigan got hot, in the middle of the season. Then they kind of been up and down towards the end. So Buffalo's just been winning.
Exactly.
So
that's right. They have. They have.
So yeah, that's who I got in the West. In the
Very
South,
nice.
I've got Virginia and Tennessee as well, and then North Carolina and Kentucky in the Midwest.
Right. Okay. So our South and Midwest are identical.
Yep.
As is our East region. I am obviously not as high on Buffalo as you are. I think my Texas Tech is your Buffalo. Like
in a way, yeah.
I got Texas Tech going, pretty deep into the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're right. Buffalo, they've been hot all year.
Yeah,
so
they can score. They can score the ball. That's the name of the game.
Right.
Score the basketball. So,
right.
But so who do you got coming for the final to the Final Four?
This is tough. Because I feel like you get to this point, and every team is good.
Elite at this point.
Yeah.
Like every possession is like so.
That's the one
tense.
thing that's like way different from the NBA is like during the regular season of college basketball. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like I like it. Don't get me wrong, but like sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to see someone put up 100 points this game. Like
right.
I want to see a high scoring game. But in March Madness, during the bracket, like it means a lot more seeing these teams buckle down, play that hard nosed defense, keeping a team under 50 points for a game. You know what I mean? Like it's different when it comes to bracket time, which is easily my favorite time to watch basketball. But
it's such a great time.
It's almost like it's totally different basketball.
It in a way like it is because I don't know that you don't get that tension necessarily that you get. In this tournament, you don't get that anywhere else.
No, in
NBA,
any sport, I feel like no.
Every possession,
right.
And that's in the second half of these games is like, oh my god, like
make
or break in a way.
Even in college football, like during the playoffs, it wasn't quite like it is for the college basketball.
This is one of the best. I guess this is the best playoff system,
right?
That's out there.
Yeah, no,
obviously
absolutely.
You can't have 64 football teams playing, but this is basketball. I mean, this is what basketball is. This is
exactly.
It's great. It's great.
It is. It's tough. How do I say this? I can't bet against Duke. here. So I'm gonna ride Duke over Michigan State. Like I said, I feel bad for Michigan State because if they were in the West, which I think they should have been, it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
Coach Izzo, he once again put together a great season with a great team. So
consistent.
Yeah,
man.
and he's an underrated coach. Not underrated, but he's not talked about like
Coach K
or
even Roy Williams. Sometimes
exactly.
Calipari.
Yeah, he's not talked about as much as them, but he deserves it, I think.
He does, absolutely.
So I got Duke coming out of the East for the Final Four. And yeah, I have FSU playing Florida State, playing Texas Tech in the West, and I still think the defense and the shooting from Texas Tech is going to be a little too much, even against Florida State's long team.
Gotcha.
So I got Texas Tech coming out of the West. And in the South, I have the 1 seed playing the 2 seed, Virginia versus Tennessee. I don't know. This was probably the hardest pick for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I've seen Tennessee play so good this year, but also seen them when they lose, like kind of affect them, in a different way than other teams.
Right.
But I still don't quite trust Virginia. And I chose Tennessee to come out of the South over Virginia.
Okay.
You're looking at me with a different look.
No, that's cool.
And then real quick before you get to yours, this wasn't one of the hardest choices for me to pick, but I think this will be one of the best games we see during the tournament is UNC versus Kentucky if they get to play each other.
Yeah. Both teams can run.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'll be interested to see those two coaches, Calipari and Williams, go head to head.
That's going to be intense, man.
Yeah.
That is going to be intense.
It could come down to, we've seen Calipari have some second half destructions, and I feel like at halftime he struggled to kind of put together some X and O's for their team.
Yeah.
Even when they've been leading, he doesn't quite, I don't know, put together the right game plan for the second half of their team. He doesn't quite make the right adjustments all the time.
Yeah.
Not discrediting him at all. But, so I got UNC coming out of the Midwest into the Final Four. So. All
right, well.
I'm anxious to see you still have Buffalo coming out.
No. So, I'll get to that in a second. Obviously, Duke. They're the favorite now.
Yeah, no, we say obviously, like it is almost obvious though. I feel like
they're just
nobody. I just can't see anybody beating them in the East. Excuse me.
So I was high on Duke at the beginning of the year, but I'm even more high on them now after Zion got hurt and came back because I saw what he did to their team.
Yeah,
and how much he means. Without him, they're a good team. Don't get me wrong. But they're not competing for a championship. I could honestly see him losing again to Virginia Tech in the Sweet 16 without him.
Oh, yeah.
So
any game, I think, in the Sweet 16 or on,
you gotta have.
You could definitely see them struggling and losing.
Yeah.
And we talked about it earlier with how when Zion came back and the impact he made, not just him going 13 for 13 from the field, but like just the way his energy, way he changes the game too for the other players, like we said with Jones. You mentioned it almost, they rely on him so much they'll take the extra gamble in any situation just because they know either one, they have him on the backcourt by the rim, or two, he'll be the first one down the court going in for an alley-oop or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just,
he's kind of the anchor to their defense, and he's the guy that gets out on the break.
Yeah.
At the same time, he's all over the floor.
Yeah, no.
He's even shooting the gap, stealing.
Right.
Stealing the ball, getting in the passing lanes. I think he's up close to about 2 steals a game.
Yeah, you're right.
Like
you said, the most important thing is the energy he brings.
Yeah. To everybody he's so infectious.
Not even just to the team, but to the crowd. Everybody watching, everybody's into it.
We saw that Duke and North Carolina game when he went down, the whole energy in the entire building was just sucked out, like it was gone.
Right.
So, I've got Duke moving on past Michigan State. Again, unfortunate for Michigan State.
Yeah.
They should not be in this position. Not necessarily. I don't know if they should be a 1 seed over Gonzaga. That's neither here nor there, but they don't need to be in the same region as Duke.
Mm-hmm.
They should have, if they're going to be a 2 seed, you got to put them in the region with Gonzaga, or flip those two. However, you know what I mean?
Right. No,
that was
I
kind
agree.
of a disservice to them, I thought.
Right.
With the season that they put together. Then I've got out of the West, Florida State.
Okay. Okay.
Obviously, I have them playing Buffalo, but Florida State's length is just going to be, I think, too much. They throw 10, 11, 12 guys out there on a given
they're all
night.
Physical too,
and they're always fresh.
Right.
You know, fresh legs in a deep tournament run like this. Like that's
right.
It's going to be key.
And we've seen like how a long physical team, like you said, especially how deep they are.
Yeah.
You know, roughing up a team like Buffalo a little bit.
Yeah.
Or any team.
Anyone.
You know,
really.
just playing a little tougher. You know, a little extra bump here and there. You know, just let them know like, hey, you know, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know. So
they kind of gave Duke a little bit of a little tussle there in the beginning of the game.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
So yeah, I've got them coming out of the West.
FSU.
For the South, I've got Virginia. This was real. That one was tough.
I know that one was
because everybody knows how well. I picked Tennessee to beat Kentucky in that first game earlier in this year. Anyways, we saw Tennessee play the way that they should have played the rest of the season.
Right.
You know, they beat Kentucky in the SEC tournament again. That was a tough one for me, but I just think Virginia is out on a mission this year.
Yeah.
After being embarrassed, quite frankly,
Honestly,
last year.
That's crazy.
I think they're on a mission. And I think they're going to be ready for that challenge against Tennessee. That's 2 veteran teams, 2 experienced teams right there. I think it's going to be a close one, but I think Virginia's going to come out on top. Yeah,
it'll be a good defensive battle too, I think.
And then, like you said, the best game I think out of this Elite Eight is going to be North Carolina and Kentucky.
Yeah.
I've got North Carolina winning. It's going to be a track meet.
Yeah.
High-scoring game, I think. But I've got them coming out of the Midwest.
Yeah, that's when I could see going into OT or something, you know, just like a crazy game, you know.
Yeah.
Which could be potentially, you know, I don't know, change the way the team is next week when they play in the Final Four. But, yeah, no, I agree. That's going to be a really fun game to watch. And I also, like I said, we talked about it, have UNC coming out of the Midwest as well.
So when I looked at my Final Four teams, I was like, these are all ACC teams.
Right.
You know, and I didn't really, when I did this, I did not do it with any bias at all. We're Notre Dame fans. You know, of course, we see the ACC a little bit more.
Right.
But I just thought these were, for the teams that they were playing, I thought these were the teams that matched up the best.
Yeah. I mean,
the best 4 teams.
Yeah. And the ACC is just stacked.
It's every year.
It's like the SEC in football. They're just loaded.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is weird. Just almost coincidence in a way. But you just all 4 of them, all 4 regions have a ACC team. So no, it's kind of cool.
I mean, it's not too far off. There are 3 ACC
number
ones.
Seeds, right.
So
I mean, that only happened one other time.
One other time, I want to say it was the Big East.
Yeah.
Back when the Big East was the Super Conference.
Yeah, dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. That's who I got.
Oh man.
Who do you have in the championship game? We're gonna see a part. I think we're gonna see a part 4.
That's what I have. So as much as I like Texas Tech, I didn't see anybody in the West competing with Duke. So I have Duke coming out of the left side, beating Texas Tech, and going to the championship. And then Tennessee, like I said, if UNC and Kentucky go to like a overtime game, or you know something crazy where it's just a real long game, I could see UNC not being fresh. Like I don't want to use the word being fresh, but like It's a long season.
Yeah.
Going into an overtime game against a team like Kentucky could put some wear on UNC.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I still don't think. I think UNC is too good on offense, and Tennessee just won't be able to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Even I do like Tennessee and their defense, and the way that they play on offense is good. I just don't think that they will be able to keep up with UNC on offense. So I have them.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of the Midwest playing Duke in the championship. And, we'll get into that talk later. Yes, like you said, a fourth time in a season, which would be crazy.
That's a good pick.
Damn right it is. Anyway, go ahead.
So I got Duke and Florida State. Too much Duke again. Too much Zion. Too much just. It's hard to pick against them.
No,
really, that's what it comes down to. It's like, man, like I want to. I think this team could. If they're on, there's a lot of ifs when it comes to beating Duke.
Like a team literally has to be hitting on all cylinders.
Yep.
To have a chance to beat them.
Yeah. And it's not saying that Duke is head and shoulders above everybody. I don't think they are, but they are better.
They will be favored in every game that they play in this tournament.
Yeah. They are noticeably better than every team that they'll play, I think.
Yeah,
so
I think so too.
It's hard to go against that, and it's hard. I mean, there are ways to beat Duke, don't get me wrong. If Zion gets in foul trouble,
right? That's something we talked about earlier. Yeah, if some team can somehow get Zion in foul trouble, that's going to leave them lacking not only defensive help in the backcourt or the front court.
Yep.
Excuse me, in the front court, but as well as leave them a man short.
I mean, anytime Zion's off the floor, they're different.
It's an advantage for the other team,
right? So that would be one way to beat Duke, or another way. Obviously, this happens to teams all the time. If another team's just shooting the lights out, I mean,
exactly.
It's basketball. Anything can happen in the NCAA tournament. This is why this tournament's so great.
Who's going to be hot at the right time?
But still, right now, I got Duke
over FSU.
FSU.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Virginia versus North Carolina,
which is just a little bit different. I had Tennessee over. Instead of.
Yep. You've got
So you got the 2-1 seeds going at it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. I've got.
Go ahead.
I know I've got North Carolina.
Nice.
So we're gonna see. Of course, Chris and I promise we did not do our brackets together. We just.
Hell no! You think I'd pick Buffalo? Jesus.
I mean,
not a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Or freaking Belmont. My God.
I mean, hey, well, you got to go out on a limb sometimes.
I know.
So
I'm just messing.
But yeah, so it's gonna be a part for everybody.
Yeah, I think so too. And I could see, would I be shocked if I would be shocked if Duke didn't get to the championship.
Yeah.
I would be shocked.
Yep.
I wouldn't be shocked if we saw Virginia, Tennessee, Kentucky, obviously, or UNC in the championship coming out of the South of the Midwest. I could see those four teams coming out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked by that. But I would be shocked if Duke did not come out.
I don't want to say Duke has an easier path, but
it also
because they got to play Michigan State to get through there probably. Right. But that's the way it's supposed to be set up when you're the number one overall seed.
Right, exactly.
So, and they're the best team in the country right now.
Right.
So
I also, me personally, it didn't matter. I mean, even if Kentucky, Tennessee, Virginia were over in the West and had to play them in the Final Four, I'd still take Duke.
Yeah.
I don't see. I have them winning the championship.
Yeah.
I have them beating UNC. I picked a final score of 79-71.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, like you said, even against a team like UNC still has to do almost everything right. They can't make a lot of mistakes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They have to get every 50-50 ball.
They got to do all all the extra little things. And I don't think Duke's going to have a cakewalk against, any of those teams.
Yeah.
As far as out of the Elite Eight, but I just, when Duke's on, they're unbeatable.
Yeah.
They're unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like you got to have both things going. You have to have them not playing good or not playing as good, and you be playing really good.
Yeah. That is kind of the way that it looks. I mean, North Carolina almost got them in that semifinal.
Yeah, that was a good game.
That was such a fun game to watch.
And I wish we would have been able to see the other games with Zion.
Yeah.
And then we'd really know, like, hey, okay,
this is.
We could see North Carolina can beat Duke with Zion.
Right.
But we don't know that. We haven't seen it.
That first game is almost like throw that game out because it's it was just a shock.
Right. You know, nobody from either team were like, oh God,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Obviously, Zion didn't play that second game either, but
Duke played a lot better that game.
They did. They did. They almost,
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Zion just, like I said, they just put him over the top.
Yeah.
So dang good.
So,
what do you do? Did you have a score for your game?
I've got Duke. Let's call it 76-72.
So you just made this up just now. 76-72.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I could maybe see them getting in the 80s, but not very likely.
Yeah, because for Duke, they don't want to be in a running gun with Carolina because that's their game. That's Carolina's game.
Right.
You don't want to try and do that.
Right.
I mean, there was a couple times where in that game, the last game, where Duke would score a basket, and then Carolina's running down the court. Already transition, yeah. Mid form for a layup.
Exactly.
I'm like, geez.
Right.
They get out and run.
Yeah.
So Duke's not going to want to do that. They're not quite as deep, I don't think, as Carolina.
No.
So,
but Carolina isn't quite as talented as Duke. Right. But and that's the thing. It is crazy that Zion and RJ Barrett have openly talked about the pact that they've built and the reason they both went to Duke.
Yeah, they wanted to win a championship. Yeah, clearly came out and said.
Yeah, they're open about it. And it's crazy to see how, because I loved back in the day when you had the juniors, the 3-4 year guys there who really built those strong connections, those brotherhoods over the years in college basketball, right?
Yeah.
And now we see the one and dones, but it looks like they've built that connection in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they've been there more than a year.
It does kind of feel like that, the way that they, they're kind of like that brotherhood that they have, amongst them and the rest of their team. Mm-hmm. They've built that, like you said, in a year, and I think that's why Duke. A lot of people do like Duke because they kind of, I don't know, it kind of gives you the old school feel of college basketball again.
Right. Yeah.
Of those older teams, and you get to see guys grow up for over 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I miss those days. But we talked a little about it, and we talked and also saw a little bit about it earlier. But like how well Zion and the Duke players have handled everything all year. Like
all that
Zion's the most talked about athlete, really.
Yeah.
Not just inside of college basketball, but
I mean, he's getting as much screen time dang near as LeBron James.
Exactly.
So
and look at how he's handled.
College.
Like we were just not too long ago talking about if he comes back to play, should he come back? He better come back. He needs to, and he literally came out and said, he's like, I wouldn't, I came here to play for Duke with my brothers. Like exactly what we wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Like some people weren't expecting that at all.
No, they were expecting him to be kind of like a sellout like everyone else. Like, oh, it's all right. I'm just here because I have to be kind of a thing.
Right.
But he's there for a purpose.
Right. He's openly said that, and he's showing it. He came back with no regards for anything. Like,
dude.
It's crazy.
What was his first
13
game?
for 13.
13 for 13?
Tied the record for, yeah. It's crazy.
Man.
He's crazy, and I honestly can't wait. I hope the Bulls somehow, with their 12% chance to get the first pick.
Here we go. Talking. Yeah.
But it's awesome to see, him and what they've done, and like they said, the relationship that him and not only RJ Barrett but the team have built together, and they're just a really good basketball team.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
It is. Man.
I'm excited for this tournament. I know everybody else is too. So. Like we said, in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Take a listen to, multiple times to our brackets.
You got till Thursday, like morning-ish. You can put your picks in till, I think the game started like noon, 12:30
The
or
playing games
something.
start, Tuesday, I want to say, but those don't really count.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
unless you got Belmont.
Yeah, Cam, they actually count for you.
Yeah, they do. So it's all good. But, check Belmont out, on
nobody's going to check Belmont
Thursday or Friday.
But
Tuesday or Wednesday.
But yeah, I think then Thursday is the actual bracket day. I think the games start around noonish early, and they go through all the.
I should have called off work that day.
I know. I thought about it too, honestly, but that's okay. Everybody's got phones now; they can stream it or check the scores. But hopefully you guys listen to this episode a couple times before the bracket starts, kind of get a good idea of how we kind of see things. I feel like we're not far off from a lot of people.
No, we're not. We're not.
For the majority, we did it on our own, obviously, but it's a lot of this is not unanimous, but
I don't want to say it's common knowledge, but it's if you watch some basketball, you kind of understand.
And it happens each year.
Matchups.
Like you know what teams are really gonna do well, but then there's always gonna be those couple teams that somehow get upset that nobody really saw coming, but then that team more often than not doesn't really drastically change things down the road. Besides Virginia last year, but
I do want to say this year one thing that I've kind of noticed too, and we've seen it a little bit, on ESPN and things like that is. It seems like there's about 8 or 10 teams that have kind of separated themselves from everyone else.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
All those 8 or 10 teams are head and shoulders above everyone else.
Just a level or two above everybody else.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out if those teams, move on to the Elite Eight and such, see how they advance in the tournament.
And that's the best thing because, during the tournament, one of those 8 to 10 teams that we talked about could have a bad game, and then here comes, a Buffalo 6 seed who's hot, and shoots lights out and takes them out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, as good as those teams are, and that they should, more likely than not beat the lower seeds, higher seeds, anything can happen. Yeah. So that's the great part about this. It's so fun to watch, and I mean, think about it. Think about how many people get engaged with this. We were just, watching ESPN. They already had almost 7 million brackets completed.
That's insane.
That's insane. It's Monday. The brackets just came out Sunday night, just yesterday. So, I mean, by the time Thursday hits, I'm sure there will be over 10 million.
Yeah.
So,
look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We're not alone in this. Watching ESPN right now, Duke is in at 40.6% chance to win the championship based on everybody's picks in the brackets thus far. They're at about 6.5 million brackets.
Wow.
Over 40% of those people have picked Duke. So
that's crazy.
We're not alone.
No.
Just so you guys know.
Yeah, no, I don't think we're alone at all.
Yeah.
So.
But what's great about the brackets too, I just kind of want to point this out. Like people that don't even watch basketball fill out a bracket.
Yeah.
Just for fun.
Yeah.
And that's also what kind of adds to this, great time of year.
Everybody seems to get engaged with it. Yeah. It's not just, big fans of it. Everybody gets engaged.
Yeah.
So
those of you that aren't big fans, like we said again, check out our bracket.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Take a listen.
And one thing before, we wrap this up, we're also going to be working on some social media pages for CC TitleTown. So be on the lookout for that. I know we're going to get an Instagram out there. We're going to get a Facebook page out there soon, probably within the next week or so.
Yep.
So keep a lookout for that. We'll spread the word eventually, but just a heads up for everybody.
Yep.
That's episode 5. We appreciate everybody listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoy watching March Madness. Only happens once a year, but it's a great time. So I'm going to send it to Cam to send you guys off.
All right. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you check us out on YouTube, iTunes, and Google Play. We're there at CC TitleTown. We'll check you guys next week.
CC TitleTown?